Well, it's 9 o'clock, so we'll call this Commissioners Court meeting to order here for our budget hearing workshop for the 11th and the 12th. So we'll all rise for the prayer and invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I just come to you. Thank you, Lord, for all you do for us. Lord, I just lift up those in the community that have lost loved ones this week. We just ask that you just be with their families and watch over and take care of them. Lord, just go with us now as we go into this workshop and help us to make the best decisions, Lord, for the county and just give us guidance in everything that we do here. Go with us now and forgive us where we fail. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, 9 a.m. Miss Melissa Stevens, she's here, so.
I don't think it's turned on.
You have to, is it turned on down there?
Push a button.
Is it on down there?
Yes. No, it's not. I'm sorry. I had part of it on me.
Yeah. Good morning. Y'all just want to start at the top?
Yep.
Okay. Every year, you know, the annual increase for Harris Government, it goes up a little bit. This year, they hit me with quite a bit. It went from, I believe, 26 and 27,787, and now this coming year will be 36,223. I questioned it, and the reasoning behind that was because they had a huge merge with BIS, which BIS is like another company that does. They work more with the appraisal district. They run Shirley's appraisal district website. Like they do a lot of that kind of stuff for property tax and appraisals and stuff. But if you'll look at the summary maintenance statement like this right here, that's where the additional almost $9,000 came from, is they're now charging me for the property search with tax notices online and the tax payment where you can go and taxpayers can come in and pay their property tax. I question that because we've always had that service. That it's just a service we've always had with them. Our taxpayers have always been able to go and pay online, and they've always been able to search their properties online. And literally the response was, it's just essentially, well, BIS is overtaking that now, so we essentially have to charge you for it now. I included an email. It's a huge, long email of why, and everything like that. But with that being said, I understand that we have to absorb some of those costs, but I don't like it. I don't like that Harris Government can just slap $10,000 on us, and the level of customer service that we get, especially with my office and my staff during tax season, is not there with Harris Government. And it's not there with Shirley either. So we have actually talked, and in the future, it may not be next year, it may not be even in a couple years, so we know we have to, that is a huge undertaking. But I would like to explore a new software company in the future. Now, like I said, that would be like a huge cost. I haven't even looked into that. Like, I don't even know what that would entitle. But I did, when I received that $36,000 maintenance fee or statement for the year, I did question both those line items, and I asked them if I was going to be receiving any more help, any more services, going to be charged for any more services, and they assured me that yes, I would still get, I would have the access to BIS now, which I didn't have before. Okay, that's okay, and that they would not hit me with any more charges throughout the year, because I did have, it hasn't came through court yet, has it? My amendment it's on the next agenda, but the $27,000 that I budgeted for this year, I had to, how much was it? $3,500 that they hit me with additional fees for this year. But I took it from my computer maintenance line. So I didn't have to come for any additional funds, but they did hit me with an extra charge this year. So that $27,000 that was in here for this year is not a true $27,000. Does that make sense? So
it's even more than.
it was even more. Yes, sir.
So, but with the 4,600, so the $9,200 extra from the 27, we were at 27,787 the year before. So that's the $9,200 increase in what it is. But that's not including what you're talking about that you had. Did you say 3,500?
So the 27 is what I budgeted for last year. When they did the merge, they charged me, they sent me an email. I didn't include it because it didn't really pertain to this, but they essentially started charging me for the BIS products then, which is their service to look for, so that residents can look up their tax properties and pay their taxes online. They immediately, last summer, that's when they started charging me for that, which increased that bill, because I get a quarterly bill for them. It increased it by a little bit each quarter, and then this last quarterly bill that I got took it over the top. So it should have been, it's like 33,000 is what that line item probably should have been this year. But I took from my computer maintenance so I wouldn't have to come to ask for contingency money. I refigured my budget.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to figure out, did we have a contract with them going into the year, and then they just changed? Or is there any type of contract?
So, no. So they just do this, and that was my question too. Like, how can you just come back and say? And they're using the verbiage as of, it's just a statement, it's not a bill. So I asked if this statement, because this is what I go by every year for my line item for y'all to approve, that's what my question is. Are you going to hit me with any more charges in the year? Because I can't keep, it was just by the grace of God that I had that $3,500 there that I hadn't used, or I would have had to come to y'all and been like, can I please have an extra $3,300 to pay this? And they assured me, so I have an email, I literally got it this morning, that they assured me that they would not. That was it.
The 36,223 should be a good rate.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I want to change soon, but when you get to looking at that, you can look on Byboard, they've got some different software companies with them now. If you look at that, I would rather have it as a contract for that amount so that we know that there's no hits coming up.
100%.
Because that's hard on a government entity to say, oh, midway through the year, well, guess what, you got more coming, and definitely out of your budget as well.
Yes.
So when you do go to researching that, if you will look and see if there's some type of contract that we would be signing, a 2-year contract, a 3-year contract, whatever that contract may be, but outline, there's not any more expenses outside of this. Detail what we have.
Okay, and I'll get with Nanette for sure, because I don't know how Byboard works, but I will definitely.
Softwares are a lifetime under service agreements rather than
Contracts.
It's not that you purchase it and put it on your system, you're given access to it.
Correct.
For a fee to access their system. So
100%.
It's not like Microsoft Office and that.
You signed up for it for a year, though.
Yeah, they can modify their cost through that service, because you're not repurchasing and redoing the contract. So I think that's why they were able to.
Go back to what I was saying. If you'll look at that and
Yes.
see, I'd rather have it detailed out so that we're not going through this and saying, well, there's another process.
Most definitely.
If we've got it in a contractual statement from them, then 36,223 is going to be what we pay, and then they say, oh, well, 10 months later we've got this. No, we've got this here, and
Yes, sir.
backed up with that.
Yeah, I'm honestly. Okay, so that was my big thing for this year. Capital outlay adjustment, I actually got with Seth yesterday, and that is actually what I asked for an additional $3,000. That is off the table. I will not be needing that. He did get a quote for a server, and it's underneath the 8,000. So it's in line with what I've had for years past. So I just need to keep the 8, if that's okay. And it probably, he said that we're going to come in under that. He didn't give me like an exact number of what under would be, but he assured me that it would be under the 8. So. An adjustment for my base pay for my lowest paid employee. I have one making $15.75. I would like to bring her up to $16.80, which is just in line with the rest of my ladies in there, and just to kind of bring her up. And then I also would like a cost of living adjustment increase for everyone else. But I would like to bring her up, and then if we do a cost of living, so does that make sense? Understand what I'm saying? And that's it.
Melissa, I don't see anything in here for continuing education or anything.
I'm good right now on my travels. I have 5,400 in there, and I may hit that this year, but I think I'm going to be good.
Just so travel and seminars, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody else, any questions for me? On that, the 1575, what did that employee start out at, as the 1575?
So I believe she started off like at 1550, and then when we did our raises or maybe even 15, our raises in July and October is what she after the October increase is what she landed at the 1575. She's been there, I believe, since March of last year. She's already gotten her vacation, so.
She's been there since March of last year.
Yes, sir.
And she would have received the raises that the whole county received.
She did, yes.
Do you have any questions? No, sir. No. All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. We'll catch you back right on time. It's 9:15. The county auditor.
I included this in here. I just wanted to jump up on 60.
We got Dana next.
I wanted to jump before she's doing great, but if I have to
Did you say
replace
it was
her,
okay to do that for the
I kind of want to still be over, I still want to be in with that.
I didn't catch that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Have a good day, Melissa.
Ready?
9 o'clock. 9:15. Miss Applewhite, treasurer.
Okay, I'm just, there's a couple of things. If you give county raises, I would like for my employee us to get that also. I wanted to add the telephone expense for me. The banks are now requiring authorization for approval and security and stuff, so I asked Sharon, she said, let's see how it goes with me just having it on my phone, and then we can decide if she needs it. She said right now she would pass and see how it worked. I did not put on this budget, but I'd like to add $1,000 to travel. As I look back at that, I have some left, but I didn't go to my fall conference. I'm not going to the fall conference this year. Sharon didn't go to conference because she was having a grandbaby, and so if we would have done those conferences, then I think I would need that little extra with the price of hotels going up and mileage, gas and stuff. And that's it for mine. That's all I have.
So you're needing to go, what your wishes are is to go from 75 to 85 on travel?
Yes, please. And then that would be for the treasurer's budget. I am asking for when we split the environmental stuff last year, and I took over different duties, I would like a stipend for that to come out of that budget, which would not cost, we already have it budgeted, so it wouldn't add to the county's cost. We separated the nuisance part out of that funds. I still use that part of the budget if I'm buying any supplies come out of there. And I'm not talking about the duties that the treasurer would normally do, taking the funds and all that stuff. That I'm not including any of that. But what I am including is that I do issue the permits, I keep up with the spreadsheets, I scan and email all that paperwork to them, I make sure that gets filed with the DR, I take care of all the stuff with the state, so that hasn't been done in the past, and if we get audited, then I'll be the one to take over having to deal with all that too. So, and I understand if you ever come in and hire an environmentalist, then this would go away. It's not something, it's just for I'm asking for compensation for those duties only.
How many are we probably averaging a month on that?
Sorry?
How many are we averaging a month?
Well, right now, we're at 48 for this year, permits. And I'm going to go ahead and plug this. You guys really need to do something about the price of those. If we get a commercial, if someone comes in and wants to do a commercial, our DR is going to charge us $500, and we're only charging them $360.
That saves you money there.
So we will lose money. Now, I'm not saying we have to go up on, I mean, that's y'all's choice on all of them, but our contract with him is if we have a commercial, it's $500. Now, I don't know.
We need to look at that. And
Yeah, so y'all need to look at that at some point.
We've looked at that earlier, and some of them kind of bugged back, but the county can't lose money for them putting those in. So we'll put that on a next agenda or something and look at that one. I appreciate all that you do on that, Dana, and I don't have a problem with the compensation of that, over to that, and then the rest of it we'll kind of look at and see.
Thank you.
As far as that goes, but people don't understand if they do pull us in for an audit, you'll be the one that gets to visit with them, and so it's very important that we've got it, and I'm glad that we're doing things a little differently in the county now, and we've got all our paperwork, we've got it documented, and I feel strongly if they did, we'd stand strong with that, and that goes without further notice that you're doing a great job. We appreciate that.
With that, since the duties are already assigned in line with the policy, that's something that the board can also go ahead and set up starting within the next month and just roll it into next year's budget, like similar to how we did the nuisance officer.
Yes, that'd be fine.
Would you like us to do it in the same way? We'll put it on the next court agenda and put it for the current year.
And this will just be a compensation, so it won't be into the salary and all that, as far as benefits and stuff won't be paid on you.
It's on a different outline item.
Yeah,
just like,
totally separate.
Yeah.
It'll come just like a nuisance officer. I'll just modify the budget, do a budget amendment to move it, and we can, it'll go to the board.
Be broke out at 12 initial payments of the 6.
I guess you got 2 of them.
So it'd be Be 24 payments instead of, I get some of mine just once a month. If that's,
Once a month's fine, yeah, yeah.
we'll put that on
That's
the
how they
agenda.
do that, right?
Yeah.
It's a once-a-month stipend.
We can't do it today, but we can do that in our next commissioner's court. Any other
I'll do
questions?
the amendment for that court paper, so you'll have it.
Any other questions for Ms. F1? Dana can't ask any questions, so Jimmy, you got any questions for me? No. All right. Well, we appreciate it, Ms. Applewhite. So
Okay,
now
thank you, guys, I appreciate it. It's on, can you hear me? Is it on?
Knock on
It's-
head.
Bump it. No, it's a.
It's on? I guess if you hold it, you kind of push it down. Could you hear me? You need to use that one. That's on, but it's going, is it because of the battery? Do you think it's because you can hear me?
I think she turned it off.
It was showing up, but the red goes off. But we'll leave it on.
Just squeeze it. Snap it down in it.
It's working now.
Hey, Hollis. I come eat your crawfish, man.
Mr. Ward, you'll be up first. You can sit in that chair right there, Jerry.
He said, Mr. Wood.
Morning.
Morning.
So we're doing the fire department first, correct?
We were supposed to do it. If that's what you want to do first, we can go back to it.
As far as trial legs, we just made the same as it was last year.
Let me find the child records.
Cookville.
Tri-Lex is exactly the same as last year. You can go back and sit down.
Cookville. First. Marcus. Let them first.
Who wants to go next? Volunteer fire department. We went all the way to the back to start with, so. Cookville.
Good morning.
Morning.
See without my glasses. I think the only thing different in ours from last year was the 7,500. We're trying to get some, we put it in for some digital radios. We'd found some for about 3,500, and we're just going to try to get a couple of them and try to get one or two each year until we get us some digital radios throughout the county. I did drop the excess cost to $5,000 from $6,000 because we hadn't been spending the full $6,000. The only time we did, I think, is when we got that truck a couple years ago and we spent extra money on it.
What radios did we buy, Jerry? I thought we bought some radios for the fire.
He ain't said what he's talking about, not left, the bigger message, so the ASK radio, better. Right, we're putting in something that cheaper cost, and that's what we got to talk about, the cheaper cost. The ones we have now, working them out, but eventually we'll be used to switch over, find something like maybe T-Mobile we've been talking about over here, something like that.
All right, thanks, Marcus. Sugar Hill. No one's here. Same.
I wanted to read something on the VFD budget. The volunteer line item is now collectively under the city fire department, and all that money is going to do that. So that's why it's not showing any expenses this year. And it was that line on 115 is because it was the board's decision to move all of that to a central, like the budget. So all that money was moved into the general fire department, where we pay the travel. I don't see that in here. So they're seeing that they have no expense out of it this year, but that's because the expense was all moved into the central location, so that the volunteer was a full time of X amount. That way, at the end of the year, you know, everybody got to use that money. Some have a lot of expense, some don't spend so much. Remember that?
On the runs and stuff, is that what you're talking about? When we moved it over?
That's what the volunteer line was. We moved all of that
To one spot.
to one spot. And so that's just why you're seeing no expense. Out of this year, y'all been using it. We were noticing that some VDS might use $1,000 of it, and some VDS might end up needing more and using 6. So we just put it all together as one volunteer service fund funded by the county.
Dalco.
As far as our budget, it did stay fairly the same. We are up for the county fire truck. I was suggested to budget that for the $65,000 like last year's had been. Other than that, we had not made any significant changes to our budget.
Do you know what the mileage and stuff is on trucks that you got now?
I know the mileage on one of our big trucks is only like 5,000, because I just looked at it the other day, but as far as my brush trucks go, not right off the top of my head, no, sir.
You'll let us know that. I don't know that we're gonna have an outlay for a truck, but if you'll let me know the mileage and stuff on that truck, then that'll go into figuring on this as well.
Okay. All right.
One other thing, Judge, can I add something?
Sure.
The city asked me.
You had to use that microphone. I'll get in trouble all over the county.
Well, I
They'll be
can't.
calling in, said they couldn't hear nobody, so.
Okay. The city has asked me to talk to y'all about some of our future plans. Talco is a city fire department, and we're under contract with y'all, and that's fine. As long as our contract, we're good. Some of our expenditures that's coming up in the future, as Jerry knows, and I don't know if he made it aware to y'all, but there's a state grant that'll be coming out probably sometime September, October this year. And so there will be a, for lack of better terminology, I call it a small heavy. It'll be a truck that will carry probably 500 gallons of water, plus or minus a little bit, have a smaller pump on it, be a quick attack. It'll be like a comparable to a 2 to 3 or 4 ton truck that'll carry it. It'll be something we can go out into the county We can make a quick attack on a structure until the big trucks get there. We'll carry a little bit more water than that. That truck, our grant, as it stands right now, is somewhere around $260,000 with the state. And it's going to have a percentage that we'll have to come up with. I think it's a 10%. It used to be 10. It may be a 20. We don't know yet. But that's going to be coming up. We actually been in that program some 13, 14 years to get this truck. So we can't really afford to turn it down, because if we do, we're going to go all the way back down to the bottom. So it'd be an advantage to our county, more especially the citizens up in the northern part of the county, to have a truck like that. That being said, if y'all know we're doing that, maybe y'all can kind of keep that in the back of y'all's mind, because we're hoping we can pull both trucks off, the county truck that's coming, the 1 ton, and this other. But if we can't really afford to do both trucks with that kind of a match, because even on your county truck, we have to put apparatus on the back end. So maybe at some point in time, if it looks like we're going to have a problem, maybe we can come back before, the city can come back before the Commissioners Court, and maybe we can do some kind of finagling or something to make it work to where we don't lose that big truck. Because that big truck's important to our county to have something like that.
Is that through an AdCog, or who is that grant through? TFS. Well, all our emergency management stuff, so that should be, is back. We've got an emergency plan now. All our AdCog stuff went away for a while. So now we've got that. So that should enhance your grant. For us to sit here and say you're going to get the 65 and help on that big truck, I'm going to say that would be a Christmas wish list. But I think that we could help on the grant a whole lot better than we could on the truck. So once you let us know about that grant, then we can figure something out.
Okay. Well, we're number 2, and they normally allow 2 trucks, so.
That'd be great. So we're looking at probably $20,000 or so, something.
Probably.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, we're coming up, and I would really hate to see the people in Titus County lose a $260,000 giveaway.
We're not going to miss that.
Okay.
I can tell you that. All right, I've got one vote towards that, but I've got to vote for it.
Okay.
So,
well, I mean, it's not in our contract or nothing like that, so this is going to have to be, if y'all could budget that would be great. You could put it on this year's budget, and if we used it, then that would be fine. If not, we're not going to use it unless that truck comes available.
It'd be a line item exactly just for that in the grant, and I'm assuming it's a 10% payback on the grant, and TAPCO's wanting us to pay the 100% of that.
It would be helpful. I mean, it would be like a one-time deal.
Yeah.
In our general fire, we could have a line for matching grant, and we could put a number in there in case that were.
You could put around 30,000 in it. If he's talking 265, we're going to be close to that figure. So if we run around 30,000 in there, if we do not receive the grant, of course, it won't go to them, it'll go back into the general. So, but I appreciate the information on it to let us know.
Okay, because I mean,
I'd much rather have that big truck than I had this little truck.
Yeah, because we're talking, I mean, we're sitting here, that's $260,000 that will help the citizens in the county. I mean, it'll help the people in the city, but my gosh, I mean, you can get out there, you can carry rescue tools and some water, and it's got a bigger pump than a brush truck, and you can make a quick attack, and it'll carry a whole lot more weight. But anyhow, that's what we've been looking at for like 13 years. We've been waiting on this thing, so we finally crept up to where we're at the top of the list.
I can tell you what I can tell you. I'm 100% for it.
Okay.
That's in 2013, so that shows you the gap that you're in the waiting on trucks.
Yeah.
We won't miss the opportunity. I don't
Okay.
think so. You got 4 others up here, but. well,
Sounds good.
One of us is not.
Dana better vote for us.
So, there you go. So, you may have 2 votes now, so you just need 1 more, so.
Hey, we thank y'all.
We will make a line item budget in that part and put it separate, and it will be for a grant. If the grant we don't receive it, could be the next year, but with you being the top 2, they normally give 2 trucks away, sometimes 3, but most years it's 2 trucks that they do deal with the fires.
Okay.
Forestry.
Sounds good. You got anything else? We thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, come see us on the 4th.
I meant to get over there the other day, you had it early, and crawfish boil on 12, so. Vortex, Mr. Hartel.
Good morning. So for Nortex, after I turned this in, I remember the training line was different. I'd look back since we started doing that $25 a month training. And for 23, we had 1,650, and last year 1,600. So, but then I remembered that training line items for going off to different trainings. But in my opinion, it probably would be good to put that in a separate line item versus just in the run money. But that's just my thoughts. That way, we're not going over every year. And then got on board with the others about the radios. Like say, if we're looking to possibly have to go digital in a couple of years instead of having to buy a bunch at once, if we did a couple each year, I think that would be a good idea, just so we don't get hit with a huge expense in 3 or 4 years. So
Did y'all make any money out of y'all's fundraisers and stuff to come up?
we have not had a fundraiser since I joined. They did a gun raffle that one year and did really well, and we've been sitting pretty good there ever since. So.
Any questions, Scott?
Thank you.
Good for that. 5-star. You gonna speak to them too?
Sorry, I didn't get that one. I didn't get a copy of this one before I left. I thought Lee was going to be here. I think everything on 5-star stayed pretty much the same.
Went from 24,000 to 47,000, so it didn't stay the same.
I don't know what he's got on the, yeah, he's put, yeah, he put that line item on one where we didn't, because that's coming out of that other fund. He did raise the fire protection a little bit. I think that's because of the new rate or whatever we were getting. And then he does have the $7,500 in there for radios. We also have $2,000 in there for a grant match that we should get this year also on personal protective equipment, if we get that grant. Same as Talco.
Is that a percentage, or is it what?
Yes, sir, that'll be like a 10% percentage. I remember, is it 10 or did it go to
$200,000, $20,000 worth of stuff, or what?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It should be $20,000 worth of equipment if it's 10%. I know we're in for a grant for that. For basically, we're going to try to get everybody the dual cert gear for the wildland gear and stuff like that. Cookville, we bought most. I think everybody in our department has dual cert gear now, and so we're just trying to get everybody in 5-star on the same thing.
All right. Any questions, guys? I think that's everyone. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank y'all. Thank you for coming.
Thank y'all. See you.
24/7.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all.
So that other fund is where the training and the runs are. We could break them out separate, each have a that would be. So this is just specialized training, and there's like a 50 case like
What do you do at EMC part?
Sorry? Well, I got Argo. You didn't call Argo. Argo.
we have trials and auto and
And EMC.
So there's
You didn't hurry first, get out of here.
we have a section. Yes, it's over here.
Hey, Leslie.
Oh, I thought he was doing it for them, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
Argo's the same. Child X was the same.
I'm sorry,
I guess that's done.
Hey, Jerry, shut that off for a second.
What? The camera?
We'll have a break.
Yesterday, okay, but the only one I haven't done is
him.
Linda Farkas, and I'll get that done today. And then just the scraggling ones I have.
We'll continue on and have the EMC, Jerry Ward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mine went up a little bit than what it was from last year because we've done the hyper-reach alert system that is required by the county in our hazardous mitigation plan and our EOP. That was done after the budget was done last year when we approved to do that. So I had to put that in my budget for this year. It's $7,500. I done talked to them. They are not going to go up on it this year, but they said next year it would be possible. Also, we've added on the Verizon Internet for the command trailer, which is $457.56 a year. It's $30-something, $38 a month, I believe it was. I think it was it.
Can I reiterate something on that? We did pay that fee last year. It's in his budget this year, but last year we paid it out of a different source. So it looks like he's increasing that, but really we just paid it out of a different line last year. Because we had some fire department money in Department 14. So just so that y'all know, this is a roll forward expense. We're just putting it in this department.
Emergency manager expenditure. What's the figure there on the emergency manager expenditure? That's what's gone up. Is that 103 or 105, Jerry? At the bottom.
103.
103.
103,887. And that's including the hyper-reach and the internet for the trailer. Plus, also I left my gas and oil at the same because now I have a command truck and trailer that I have to do maintenance on, tires on, fuel. The generator on the trailer runs off fuel, truck. So I kind of left that the same, which I didn't use all my fuel this year, but I went ahead and left it the same so I can cover that other truck and trailer.
Y'all got any questions? Like I said, Lynette was saying the emergency manager expenses there, that's including that hybrid reach that alerts everybody of the storms, and that we did do that earlier, but it come out of a different part. So wherever that came out of, it'll change that part of that budget as well.
That was a budget line item that we had that we were probably not even budgeting again this year, you know. Just got.
But it should be a wash.
It's a wash, yeah.
I don't get that microphone.
Sorry. You got it.
No, I'm talking about the other one. She can take the other one if she's got something to say there.
I'm done anyway, I guess.
All right. Mr. Hopperday.
Good morning.
Mr. Hopperday, you're not on our list.
Thank you.
You're in here with John, right? Yeah, because you have your phone.
Oh, yeah.
You're breathing kind of hard. You're breathing kind of hard. You take the elevator to get that?
I did not. I ran because it rained so hard. That's what I'm asking in my budget. I need an underground tunnel bill for the handies over here.
How about just an umbrella? How about an umbrella?
We'll throw in an umbrella for you. Little Dalmatian umbrella for you to walk back and forth.
See, you're there. We have to convince you. Call over and say, hey,
All righty, 10 o'clock, Mr. John Coburn, County Attorney.
All right. Gentlemen, ladies, I don't really have
Get
any,
that microphone in front of John Mark.
I don't have any changes to anything as far as county funds. The only changes I'm going to be making is to the SB 22 grant. So what I was going to do is, and I was going to get with the judge later, we talked about it this morning, but there's going to be significant funds left from the grant because I'm not going to be needing all of it, and we may talk about that later. But as of right now, what I was planning on doing was I'm going to eliminate one of the positions, and I'm just going to have the Doug's position and the Victim Assistance Coordinator's position, and we'll have Paul's position and Max's position, so and eliminate one position. And what I was going to do is move some grant funds to the victim VAC position to coincide with the DA's salary. So Nanette's already ran all those numbers for me. So that's really the only thing I'm going to do right now. And it's going to free up some of the funds. We may need those funds down the road if we end up going with getting the construction done on the project out on I-30. And so may need to hire somebody because it could be a significant workload, but that's a few years down the road. So that's really all I have. I really don't have really.
I'm assuming that there's two secretaries in this 25 budget.
Nanette may have to help me with that, but there's going to be Max's position, which is a county position. That's what we've always had, and then we'll have the VAC, and then the Doug's position. That's it.
The position that is funded with SB 22 is funded already by the county. That amount cannot change from the fiscal year 2023 amount that was given. That's the baseline for that position. So he's adding and increasing that salary with SB 22 funds. That's
Which salary again?
in that secretary line with that. That's why that's so high. That's both of those. That's the VAC and the office.
And Max's position.
Okay,
So-
those are both in that 92.
In the 92. That's what I'm asking.
The core part of the back is in there as well. And then that will be supplemented by that.
Why is that not broken out in two different
I was
positions?
wanting a $92,000 secretary myself if I could get one of those. So.
The city gets those folks.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking if there's one secretary or two in here.
The reason why is because the general ledger has not been updated since it was created, and we just added into line items that were already there. So as the VAC was hired, or any other staff in your office, it just got added to the secretary line. But now that there is a distinct difference between the position, it's It's just how you can build your GL. We can break them apart moving forward. It's not an issue to do that. And I'll make a note to make a line for the DAC so it's easily seen, and for the department secretary so it can be easily identified in the budget. Okay? Just fix that.
Yeah. Judge, that confused me when I first saw that too, so.
It's like that in all of them.
When it shows up like that, then they come up here and they say, well, they start raising Cain with this and that. If I don't have it broke down, it's the
Yeah, I
secretary's.
agree. It looks out of sorts.
In conjunction with John Mark's budget, years ago, in order to have the staff in his office, he also contributes and transfers funds in there to offset some of those expenses, especially for his office staff, that front staff nurse's position. He actually gives $13,500 for that position. So he budgets the full position, and then he brings it down to $13,500. So that's what that line is. That comes out of his free trial fund, and he is allowed to hire staff with. So that's where that number comes.
That's perfect, as long as we all on the
And
same
now,
page.
just we should have more pretrial money coming in due to the fact that the DPS is no longer at the border, and they're actually working around here, because they haven't been doing much around here for the last few years. So we should see those numbers get back to their historical mean averages. So I know Paul's been pretty busy with some of those lately.
It's already increased in 2024, and I'll be approved this year by $5,583. That money is coming in on those free trials.
And that tree trial money is some that we use with Mr. Wynn and them across the street too. We give them some funds.
There's two different ones. Back when we first started doing this, I don't know why, but for accounting purposes, they created two different accounts. And so one of them has to do with what I call the CDL pretrial that we talked about. Like if you have a CDL and you get a ticket, running a stop sign or whatever, they'll appeal that because the justice of the peace can't do deferred on those because of the CDL holder. And so we do a pretrial, and that Paul manages that. And then the other pretrial is the one that you work with, like DWIs and different things. First offender program is what I call that.
And that's Fund 34.
And we did give them some of that money last year, a year before. Right. I've talked to Shane and Shane. When I talk with Shane, and they may be, depending on how, they're starting to build a lot more probation over there, they may need a secretary over there, so they could use a little bit of that fund money to offset a salary-wise there.
Yeah, they definitely can use it for that because there's no issues with that.
All right, well, looks good. Any questions for Mr. Golden?
Y'all have anything? Yeah, I like when I don't have to ask y'all for anything.
Makes it pretty easy to get in right now. Mr. Hockaday, sitting in for Mr. Wynn.
Always.
All y'all got is all we're giving y'all is the $1,000, and that's office supply stuff.
Yes, sir. We're not asking for any increase in that.
No changes. Simple.
Pretty easy.
Rubber stamp. Now we'd like for a video to see you across the street, right? So
Now you can run back across the street.
you can run back across the
I may
street.
hang around over here.
We'll work.
For ways up, getting around the whole thing.
We'll work on that tunnel in the next budget for us.
Just go with it. I like to see you bitch for it.
Big thanks.
I'll be careful. Thank you.
Had the Charlotte in the truck, and Blackpool was in, the Gilbert was in the lot. And I turned the I mean, it's got some of that apples out of it, down that, and that black bull had already pulled up, and he was coming to the gate, and Sherman stepped off, he was getting ready to pull up, and that black bull walked up there and smelled it, turned and walked off.
Okay, at our 10:15, the DPS, Sergeant McKinney had a mandatory meeting to do with the DPS office. They did send theirs in, and it's exactly the same as it was last year and signed off on it. Ray Barrett is on a call, having to go to in court, and then he's got to go on a transport. And then Brad Duncan had a conflict with a doctor's appointment. So those two will be here tomorrow following the 11:30. Will be Brad Duncan and Ray Barrett, and the DPS will accept as they've been sent to us and already signed, and it's the same as last year. And now we will take the district judges, and Ms. Sarkar is already here, so we'll get started with her.
Okay. Thank you. We don't have
If you'll
much.
step up to that microphone there, that way I don't get in trouble. They'll say it's not on or something. So
All right, can you hear me?
we can now.
Okay. Thank you. We don't have much that's changing this year. We're not asking for a lot of change. The two main things are the private investigations expense. We're asking to go up from $3,500 to $5,000. What that is indigent defense whenever they need an investigator on a criminal case, and expenses are going up everywhere, so we're just asking for a little increase there. And then with the travel and seminars for a court coordinator, right now it's $1,050. We're asking that go up to $1,550 because increase in mileage and cost of attendance, and it's required for her to go each year, so we would have to do that. That's from Titus and all of them. That's just from Titus. Okay. Okay. And then I know that you all don't know yet, or you're working on whether or not any employees will get raises this year, and we're just asking that all of our employees, if you do give raises, that they get those same raises. For court reporters, we have to set something, and so we were just looking at a 3% cost of living to be put into the budget, which would increase for both of our court reporters. For Titus portion, $5,226, I believe is what Nanette has figured.
And the increase on the medical, we have to increase the medical that's covered in Morris. We have to that. Some of that cost is just the issue that change from year to year.
Right, you're saying that 5,000 is not the total, it's not increase in salary, that's with the insurance and everything. That's all of everything that we have to increase.
Those court reporters, since y'all don't have court every day, if we didn't have court on the same day, they could come over and do our court reporting?
Not generally, no, unless, okay, so typically what has happened in the past is they are assigned to a particular court, like mine is assigned only to the 76th. That's not to say that you couldn't use them, but anytime they go to another court, whether it goes to Judge Kopech's court or your court or another court, they generally charge what's called a sub fee, and that's what's happened in the past. Now, I'm certainly willing to talk to my court reporter and work with y'all if you needed somebody to try to adjust that where you wouldn't have additional expense, but in the past, that's how it's always been. And that was not something that I set up, that was here long before I came. That's just how it's always been.
Well, I'd definitely like to visit on it, and we don't have many courts that have to have a trial, have to have a court reporter, but if we set it up on a different day that y'all weren't having court, if they're not doing anything in your court, with us giving them $138,000 and another 3%, I think it'd be appropriate for them to come over and do our court since we are paying it, so.
And I do understand that. I just don't have an answer for you that's for sure how it would be. I can't. I'd have to talk to Judge Kopech and both court reporters.
If you would, I'd appreciate it.
I absolutely
Like I said, we did go up on their salaries the last 2 years to get y'all a court reporter.
Yes.
And
And that is part of why we put the 3% in here after we had talked to Nanette, because we don't want to ever get in a situation that we were in last year where we have fallen so far behind in what court reporter salaries are that we can't get someone without coming back to y'all and asking for a huge increase. We thought it would be better to ask for a little increase each year so that we don't get behind.
Right. And with us doing that and factoring that in, there's John Mark there. I just asked a question, John Mark, before you walked in. They're wanting to give the court reporters 3% raise, which they're already at $138,513. If they could come over, if we had a case and need a court reporter to do that, she says she's not sure on that. With us paying them that much money, my feeling is they should come do our court reporting, but.
I think, Judge, y'all have been agreeable with us in that.
We did do that before, as long as we didn't have a conflict. He was just asking for sure about doing it without paying them anything extra, and I said in the past, before this, there was always a sub fee, whether it was for my court reporter doing Judge Kopech's in another county, or his doing mine, or anywhere else, because they're just assigned to that particular district. Also, just to be clear, the $138,000 that you're talking about is salary and benefits total. That's not their salary. That's retirement, everything.
It's what it costs the county.
It's what it costs the county. Well, all the counties combined. That's not.
No, that's just.
That's just
our
Titus.
part.
Okay.
Our piece.
Okay. So.
We have the highest piece though, Judge Saucier, because we pay almost 50% of the benefits. So that's why that's higher, is because of that. It's because of our percentage of population that calculates that.
I just wanted to be clear that you understood that that was not just salary, that's salary, benefits, retirement, everything. But yes, I'll certainly talk to them. I'm willing to help however we can help, but.
And I don't, if we don't give everybody else a raise, it's hard for us to give two employees out of our part. I don't know what the other two counties will do, so depending on what they do as well.
I do understand that, and I do appreciate where you are, but their salaries come from several different counties, and also regulatorily, the district judges have to set what their salaries are, and so we don't really get to know what all the counties are doing in time to tell you yes or no, that we're just going with what you do or we're just going with what they're do. We have to tell y'all now, and so that's how we set the 3%. Y'all or Camp or Morris or Marion could come up with a 5 or 10% raise at some point, and they're not going to get that. They're going to get whatever we've set before you today.
Have you talked to any of the other counties?
I have not. I've just talked to Nanette last week, because y'all are the earliest. Y'all do things sooner than everybody else. So I won't know from Camp and Morris probably till early to mid-July what they're going to do. So we just had to pick a figure. We picked 3%.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think there was any other changes.
Folks drink it iced coffee.
See, I thought, my dad
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's some folks drink it year round. Just
Okay, well, we've got the 11:15, Miss Michelle Wharton. Come over to the elections office. She'll come up, grab the microphone, make sure that it's on.
Thank you.
All right. You hear me? Okay.
All right, we're ready to go.
Okay. So it's only the second time I've done this, so we really aren't going to be asking for any differences from last year, other than an increase from 32 to 38,000 in software maintenance. We are getting a lot of legislative changes that we may have to make some changes on the machines, and that's going to make a difference this coming year. The mail-outs postage has gone up since last time. We wanted to give enough allowance for 18,000 voters. We don't quite have that many, but just give us some cushion right there just for 18,000. And then in November, we did have to rent a U-Haul trailer. The trailer we had used in the past was getting to where it wasn't, they weren't able to use it very well, and it was very small. They were having to make multiple trips back and forth to pick up the machinery that they needed to take to the locations for us. The Sheriff's Department does that for us as a courtesy, and the trailer that they had, it was very small, and they were having to bend down, and those equipment's very heavy trying to get all of that in and out. We rented a U-Haul in November. It cost $422 to rent it from Friday until Monday. A new trailer that size I've looked at is around $10,000. I mean, if you were okay with us renting a U-Haul 2 to 3 times a year, I mean, to be able to do that, we would be fine with doing that. Or would you rather look at, we do have $8,000 that we have in our funds that we could put towards something like that.
Why don't we check with them, Michelle, with our local ones here, and see what they could do as far as and get a bid for them and a quote from all of them, and they might be able to do something since we are Titus County, and see what they would do on that. I know $400, but when you do that 3 or 4 times a year, and if you do the city's election, within a couple of years, you could have that paid for and be your own. And then the Sheriff's Department can move that. We've got some files that we do need to move out to our warehouse as well. So let's look at that. And y'all do have some funds there. This year is a mail-out year where you have to mail cards and stuff. Is that correct?
Yes.
So is this fund here going to be enough because it is a mail-out year?
It's actually a little more than what we would need for that, due to right now we are doing a lot of redistricting after the last May election. We knew of 2 people that voted from outside the city that shouldn't have. This came down to a 1-vote election, and we were looking at possibly going to court over that, and so we were looking at expense for that. So we went back and we had asked the CAD the company that does the interactive map on the CAD to add overlays for the commissioners' precincts and the voting precincts. So we're using that to compare to what the SOS has for everyone's address in Titus County. We're going through every street, county road, everything to get everybody correct in there. We have already redistricted almost 1,000 people. I mean, so we're having to send out new cards for that before the November election. Right. That we were not expecting to have to send out. So this would actually, kind of cushion some of that redistricting as well.
I also noticed, I don't see them, and I may be just missing it. We had talked about some of those machines and a concern of those having to replace those. Have we got a solution to fix those?
We have gotten half of those machines fixed already. That was $12,000 total to get those fixed. We're going to send the other 12 off soon to have those repaired. That should keep the machines up to date and working for at least the next, few years. That they had to replace the rubber bands that pull the ballots in, and so those are all brand new, so that should fix that problem. If we do have to get new machines, in the next 3 or 4 years, we're looking at between $300,000 and $400,000 for that.
Yeah. So, like I said, I knew that we spoke about it. I was just making sure we want it to be a clean election. We want the machines to work well, and like I said, that we've got to look at that in the future for sure.
Yes.
And in the next few years, and so that we don't take such a big hit all in 1 year, and see what we need to do on that.
Okay, right now, we have enough machines working for the November election that, even if we didn't get any more repaired right now, we have enough that are in working condition to be able to make it through the November election.
Perfect.
You also have backups?
Yes, enough backups. Mm-hmm.
like I said, I'd like to still leave the trailer deal in there, and I understand we want to leave it in the budget as well, and see what we can do
Okay.
as far as shopping that. So.
Okay.
Any questions from anybody from Michelle?
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. There was one other thing. Text My Gov is a text service that the county could look at possibly, not for this year, maybe for next year. Right now, we really don't have a good way to get information out to the county. That is, we have a newspaper that goes out once a week. We have Facebook, but we only have 600 people on the elections page. We really don't have a Titus County real Facebook page. This Text My Gov would kind of be like that weather app that Mr. Ward uses that they would sign up for, and then, if they had canceled jury duty, they could use it for that. We could also use it for elections and those types of things. It's going to be about $5,000 a year, though, so if that's something you want to think about in the future.
Anybody got any questions?
This trailer that you got listed, 8.5 by 16, is that big enough to carry all the voting?
It is not big enough if we have to put them in cages like they're talking about. We have 4 cages over there, but we have 20 locations that we would have to send them to, so we would have to get more cages in the future if they make that legislative change to make it mandatory. That would be, they would have to come back and make multiple trips. But in November, when we used the 15-foot trailer without it being in cages, it was enough room to put all of them in there at one time, and they didn't have to make but one trip.
But with the cages, it would have to be...
They would have to come back and make multiple trips.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where you code? Lynette, you code? Don't cut it down.
How are you? Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, turning my papers, how are y'all?
11:30, Mrs. Irma Dunn, JP.
Yes, a few minutes early, but that's okay, right?
It's always supposed to be early.
I'm sorry?
If you're not early, you're late. Right?
Would rather be early.
Right.
Well, all I'm asking is just for a 5% increase on salary for my girls and myself. I believe I'm doing okay on the office expenses and computer. So that is the only thing I'm asking for.
You done? Anybody got any questions?
Now, you want to give them a 10%, that'll be even better.
Well, you just asked for 5, so.
I asked for 5, but as generous as this county is with employees, that'll be great,
We appreciate it.
taking that into consideration.
All right. Anybody got any questions for Ms. Irma?
No? Okay.
All right.
I have a check in my office.
11:45.
Have a check
Is
in my
Miss
office for you.
Sharon in there as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Tell her.
Thank you, ma'am.
Only short and sweet. Go ahead, do what you do.
11:45, Mr. Steve Agan, JP Precinct.
Pretty much, I'm going to pretty much piggyback, same thing, you know, of course, if it want to be more than 5%, then that's fine with me too, be fine with them, but 5% from the girls, 5% from myself.
There with the travel and seminar, you've got 5,000. We spent 3,000 in 2023 and spent about 28 this year so far. Do you think that's too much since we're just spending around 3?
Depends on what comes up, you know, if there's a buffer zone, whether or not we'll be doing extra training or anything in the future. I mean, we don't go to school just to, you know, go to school, you know, but we go to only the required things that we can. We very seldom go to the legislative updates because you can read that stuff online. But, you know, school, you know, the cost of school and stuff, I'm sure going to go up.
What you do? Anybody got any questions for Mr. Agan? Thank you for coming.
I'm sorry?
You know when you're going to have your surgery yet? Or?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning.
Good thing we didn't have you on today, so tomorrow's good.
I'm sorry?
Good thing we didn't have you on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. Hope it all goes well for you.
All right. Thank y'all.
You bet. Well, that's the last one for today at 11:45, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn so we can go.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn, second by Commissioner Parker. We're going to adjourn our workshop at 11:25. Thank y'all all for coming. It's a little after 9 o'clock, so we're going to call this meeting of the Commissioners Court Workshop on the 12th day of June 2025 at 9 a.m. here at the Titus County Courthouse to order, and we'll rise for the invocation of the pledge.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I just come to you thanking you, Lord, for all you do for us. Lord, I just ask you right now just to be with us as we go into this meeting, and Lord, just help us to do what's right for Titus County. Lord, I ask you just to be with the folks that are experiencing the flooding this morning. Just watch over and take care of them, keep them safe. Lord, we just ask you that we are protected here today is with these floods and all that are going on. We just ask you just to go with us now and help us and forgive us where we fail. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
June 12th at 9 o'clock. First one on the agenda is Sheriff, the rag. Make sure that microphone's on there and pull it a little closer to you.
You want me to just start with the budget line items that I need to make adjustments to? Or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First line item that I've got that I was going to make an adjustment to was 2025 010560316. It's about middle ways down on the budget on computer expense. We currently have $2,500 in there. I was looking to increase that by $4,000 to $6,500 because I've got 5 computers that are needing to be replaced, which is going to cost me about $1,000 a computer. So if I increase that by 4,000, that'll give me at least a little cushion of about $1,500 in case I have some other issues throughout the rest of the year. We've been averaging, with all the computers that we have over there, we've been averaging about 2 or 3 issues a year. Some of them are, like the ones we got now, I've got 4 that are complete failures according to Seth that we've had. They're about, the 4 computers that I'm needing to replace are about 10 years old, and they pretty much run their life. They're not able to keep up with the software that we're having to run on them, so I need to replace those 4 computers on that. So that's the increase that I'm asking for on that one. The next line item is 2025 010-560-343. It's the ammunition budget. We currently have a budget of $10,000. The state has increased a lot of the training requirements that we have, and a lot of y'all have seen with the TSSC, which is the Texas School Safety program that we do. So with the increases that we're having to do in our training, because we have rifles, pistols, shotguns, ammunitions, all those things that we have to buy, our duty ammunition that we have to buy for those, plus we have to have training ammunition for each one of those. Obviously, I know a lot of y'all that do any kind of shooting, y'all have seen the prices have increased on all that as well as with everything. So due to the increases in the ammunition prices, plus the increased requirements by the state on the mandated training that we need to do, I'm going to need to increase that budget for that to accommodate, to be able to get the required ammunition that I'm going to need just to meet the minimum standards for our TCO requirements, plus also the state requirements when we're doing our training to help with all the school safety programs that we're needing to do also. So it's going to be an increase from $10,000 to $20,000, which is an increase of $10,000 on that budget line item. My next budget line item is right below that. It's 2025 010-560-353, which is electronic camera maintenance. That is our contract with Newman Electronics. I've increased it by $300 from $5,500 to $5,800. That's about the average that it costs us every year. It usually goes up around $250 to $300 a year on our maintenance contract with them to take care of all the 100-plus cameras that we've got at the jail, at the sheriff's office. So that's the reason for that $300 increase on that. Let's see. The next item is going to be, and Nanette may be able to help me on this one, on that increase there with that 38. I believe that one was already was taken care of last year, but I wasn't sure on that. Right, we did. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I was thinking we'd already adjusted that one, but I wasn't sure. I wanted to make sure. Right. Okay. I just want to make sure. So I'll go to the next line item I'm looking at is 2025 010-560-424, which is.
Hold on just a second. Back to the 355, the last next for the cloud storage. You said we've already paid that?
They've already moved some money around this year in order to accommodate some of that line. But I'd have to get the specific numbers because we've already purchased some of that.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'd have to get the numbers. So saying I'm not sure how much of that they're going to need to finish it, but they've already started purchasing some of it this year with money for this year.
Okay. So when you say some of that money, we're looking at 30, he's got a difference of 33,800 from 5,300. How much more of that are we talking about? How much of that's already been paid of the 38, 33?
We just got those last week, so I have to go check and see if you want me to.
We don't have to do it right now, but this is Santa Claus and telling us what we want, and then we go back from there. But
what they did was they had some other lines of some commissary money and some things in their budget that they used to offset those cameras from money that they used. So they used like $20,000 for their commissary telecom. So they used some of their other lines to pay for the camera equipment. So that's why it's not showing on that line. They had use some of the other.
What I'm asking is, there's a possibility that we're not going to have the whole $33,800 because you're saying there's some other money that's already taking care of that.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what I'm asking.
But I just wanted that out there so that y'all knew what it was costing, even though we've already made up for it in other line items. I wanted y'all to be aware of what we were doing, so.
But it wouldn't necessarily be an increase from $5,300 to $33,800 because some of this has already been paid for.
Right.
So
It is an increase, but we're taking it out of other line items to pay for it. But I wanted to, as far as transparency, let y'all know what we were doing as far as how we were being able to take care of that to cover that cost on that, so.
Sorry to interrupt, but
No.
go ahead.
No, that's the reason I put that in there, because I wanted to make sure y'all were aware of it. And right, and that's why I put that in there, because it wasn't reflected on there. I didn't want it to come up later and be any confusion as to where that came from.
Bottom line is, I'm just making sure.
Yes,
there's already been some money paid towards the $33,800. So
yes, sir.
That's not necessarily just going to be the full amount.
Yeah, I'm not coming in there asking for 20-something thousand for that. I just want to let y'all know that that's how that issue was handled on that. All right, let's see. The next line item is 2025-010-560-424, cell phone expenses. I was asking for an increase on it from 14.4 to 19.6. What I was wanting to do, currently the only people that I've got on cell phone expenditures are my investigators, supervisors in our key positions, jail, dispatch, and patrol. I was needing to add the patrol deputies. I have 10 deputies on patrol that don't get any kind of a stipend for their cell phones. For the last several years, we use their cell phones when a call comes into dispatch. Instead of them having to drive all the way back to the sheriff's office, the dispatcher is able just to transfer it out to their cell phone, so they answer it while they're out there in the field instead of having to drive all the way back into town to answer their cell phones. Plus, I've got over half of my guys in patrol that are on SWAT, so they're subject to being called out 24 hours a day. Plus, they're also, with the situations that we've had here recently with our recent murder, I had to call in several people off duty to help cover calls while we were working that scene. Plus anything else, weather-related issues, anything like that, they're subject to being called in 24/7, so they're basically having to monitor their phones and keep them with them all the times and being subject to being called in, but they're not really receiving anything for that with their extra activities as far as being outside. I'd like to do a stipend of $40 for the deputies on patrol because of those extra things that they're required to do for us on that, being on call for those situations.
But they are going to take a car home, right?
Yes, sir. They do take a vehicle home, and that's the reason why we do that with the vehicle, so that if they do have a situation, they've got an immediate response. They can leave from their home and go straight to the situation wherever they're needed at, not have to drive all into town, come to the office, get a car, then go out to wherever they're at. They can respond directly from their residence to wherever they're needed.
So there is some type of compensation with them being able to drive a car home?
Oh, yes, sir, absolutely, absolutely. But that's the other thing, too, is with the phone, too. I'd like for them to be able to do that with the phone also to help offset that, because they use that so much, especially during the day or at night, too, when they're taking phone calls, plus being on call for SWAT and any other items that might come up with situations on that.
They do realize that if they start being paid on county money on those phones, that those phones are subject to being able to be brought back in and confiscate their phone to go through their materials and stuff that's on those phones.
Yes, sir. That, and then
on those phones, they can't use no internet and stuff like that.
Right. With that, and then also with the requirement of having to put their county email on that also, too, I'm assuming you'd want that like we did on those other ones, where to have them put the county email on their phones too. I know we did that with our investigators on that last one. We did that to wake them. That way they can maintain that on their cell phones also, of any issues that may come through from their county emails. Well, they can. All right. Next line item I've got is 2025-010-560-485 for uniforms, badges, and vests. Currently, we've got $15,000 budgeted for that. I'm asking for an increase of $25,000, which is a $10,000 $10,000 increase. The reason for that $10,000 increase is I've got everything that we have comes out of that budget, which is our pants, shirts, our bulletproof vests, our duty belts, basically everything that they use when they're in the line of duty. Currently I've got 4 vests this year. Every 5 years we have to replace their bulletproof vest, and I've got 4 that are going to be running out this year, and each one of those vests currently costs me $1,300 a piece for those vests. So I'm looking at, I'm going to have an increase on that of 4 new vests at $1,300 a piece, plus the increase of the cost that it's costing me for their shirts, their pants, and their duty belts, badges, everything that's going up on that. So that's the reason why I'm looking at the increase on that. And a lot of that is largely due to the cost of the bulletproof vests that we're having to purchase this year. Because I'm looking at a little over $6,000 just for those 5 vests there. It's going to cost me about $6,000
Does
roughly.
the SB 22 cover any of the vests?
It can, yes, sir. We can divide that up on that, like for it'll cover, the SB 22 can help cover radios, firearms, bulletproof vests. A lot of those materials we can look at utilizing the SB 22 money however y'all would like to use that as far as items that we're looking to purchase on this next budget year.
Once the cars, we get the vehicles in, we're supposed to be
I've got 4 in right now, yes, ma'am.
coming in, and we have 2 more for this year. Once those 2 come in, and we kind of see where we are, like last year, I contacted the sheriff's office and said, you still have this much available. They bought firearms with it last year, so there's a possibility he could utilize. If there's some left over this year, we usually try to make that purchase in September so that we can get it through the current year to help with that. If we have it.
Right. Yes, ma'am. The other items I was looking at that aren't actual current budget items, obviously, one of the items we were looking at, I put a copy in that in there, is looking at 3 patrol units for this current year. I know currently right now, like Ms. Nanette was saying, the patrol units that we're ordering, it's taken, I know y'all well aware of it as far as the chips and things that come in for those cars, that put us, a year and a half almost behind on getting new patrol units. Used to, we'd place the order, and with a couple months we had them. The last 4 or 5 years, we've been facing an issue of it's taken us anywhere from a year to a year and a half, sometimes 2 years to get those vehicles in. So I went ahead and put in for 3 more new units this year for 3 patrol Tahoes. To be completely outfitted would be a cost of $266,000 for 3 new Tahoe units, which that includes everything: radios, graphics, radars, camera systems, basically everything they would roll off with, everything they absolutely need, light bars, everything completely outfitted. And I went ahead and put that in there because, if I skipped a year, I was kind of worried if I skipped a year, well, then that would put me 2 to 2.5 years behind on getting vehicles. But if I went ahead and put in for it this year to go ahead and get them on there, it would still be about a year, at least a year behind. But I was afraid if I ever got out of the rotation and didn't do that, then that would put me about 2 years behind on vehicles.
In the Sheriff's Department, we get $350 in SB 22 money for y'all?
Yes, we get $350,000 a year for the SB 22 money. And then, of course, once we take off, it's usually roughly around $75,000, $80,000 what it costs to do the mandatory requirements for the payroll that I have to take out for patrol and jail to get them to the minimum requirement of $40,000 on there. And once we take that off, that usually leaves us, once we take off that $75,000, then the rest of it, historically, we've been trying to use towards vehicles. Yeah.
And when we do the final review, because payroll is estimated at the maximum in the budget expense that would come out, if for some reason they have jailer positions that are not filled, or they have, just a change in staff, that number, if it comes in lower, let's just say it comes in $5,000 less than that budget, that money is automatically, then I move it to the equipment line. That's how he can get the additional money at the end to add to that. And last year, we had like 17 left over, so.
One of the next items that we were looking at, we've been having, everybody's aware of the net data system that we have. Of course, it was purchased a few years ago back by ISS, and then I3 Vertical came in and purchased them. When I3 Vertical came in, they basically, when they talked with us at the Sheriff's Office, they basically told us we have a law enforcement program in there for your software to run all your computer systems, our jail, our dispatch, our records. They came in a year and a half ago and basically told us either you take this program or go find your own, which, of course, they kind of held us for ransom because they had 30 years worth of records that we had that was, well, okay, it sounds like a good program, so we initiated that a year and a half ago. The only problem we were having with the I3 Vertical is everything that they told us their systems would do, it's not doing. It's putting wrong information in on our arrest records, it's putting wrong information in on our administrative records, and it's basically, and on our dispatch, it's putting in wrong information, putting in wrong dates, wrong times. The I3 Vertical, they're based out of Georgia, so a lot of the things that we're experiencing in the jail too is they're putting in arrest codes that are based out of Georgia, not out of Texas. So it's causing a lot of confusion back there, and our problems when we're reporting to the state, and we're having Georgia statutes instead of Texas statutes. So we started looking at other avenues to get us a new software to basically run our jail, and then also run our dispatch, and also run our records division. The one system that we looked at is called eForce. They're a company based out of Utah. There's currently several sheriff's offices here in the state that's had them for a little over a year. Sent 4 of our people over to Cook County, to Sheriff Sappington's. He's had this eForce software system for a little over a year. They went over and looked at it. I had someone from our jail, someone from dispatch, someone from records, and someone from patrol go and spend the entire day over there to see how that system works, how it does, and if it would work for us and do what we need. Once they came back and gave me a report on it, they said that it absolutely does everything that when eForce came in and did their presentation to us, it does everything that they said it would do and more. I know it's a pretty hefty cost to go to that. I've got the quote system up there on that. For the entire cost for bringing in the eForce system on that was going to be about $216,751 and 57 cents for that program. The annual licensing fee would be $32,000 after that. Currently, we're paying I3 Vertical approximately $50,000 a year on our licensing fee, so we'd be about an $18,000 savings per year if we went to this from that. Of course, obviously, we'd have the initial startup of that $216,000 to move to this program.
How long did they guarantee the $18,000 annual fee?
They believe it was for 3 years. Yes, sir.
So it can go up after that as well?
Yeah. Year 2 and year 3. Yeah.
Will be based on.
Yeah, the 3%. So the first 2 years would be guaranteed at that $18,000 decrease from what we're paying now for I3 Vertical. On year 3, they'd be looking at a possible 3% increase starting year 3 on that. The other items that would need to go along with that would be one of the other things that we're looking at that would actually help us with that on that system is for the deputies to be able to use iPads in the cars. What that would do would be allow them to be able to run things in their cars, do their reports in the cars. Currently, like right now, if they do a report, they go to Talco and they take an offense report, well, then they got to get back in their car, drive all the way back to the sheriff's office, do a report. But if they get a call and then they got to stop what they're doing, go to Cookeville and answer a call, and then come all the way back to Mount Pleasant, finish typing up that report, do it. If we go to look at using the iPads and with the addition of that to using to purchase an iPads and mobile printers for the cars, When they get on crime scene, they can actually take those iPads out. They can use it for photographing crime scenes. They can actually video photos for the iPads. And then also, if we purchase the mobile printers, when they stop a vehicle, they're able to just swipe their driver's license. It imports all that information in there. When they get back to the office, the current system that we have in there will be able to extract that information off that printer. When they pull up out back, we have these ports out back there that extract the information. Right now, they're currently extracting all their video from their in-car cameras and also their body cams. But if we also purchase the ticket writers along with this eForce program for the vehicles, they'll extract that information also, which would save us a lot of time and money, because right now they're currently doing handwritten tickets, which means they write that ticket, they come in, they give it to a supervisor, that supervisor looks at it, then they turn it in. Well, then it goes to dispatch. Well, dispatch has to hopefully be able to read that deputy's handwriting and not type in the wrong information, because that's where we get our racial profiling report to the state every year. And every year it causes problems, because even if that dispatcher can't read that deputy's handwriting, they enter it based on what they think it was, we won't know till closer to the end of the year when we get the kickback from the state saying, hey, that's wrong information. Well, then they got to go spend hours and sometimes a day going back and researching, finding those tickets, going back and trying to reread it and figure out what it is. But if we have those ticket writers to go along with that information, it automatically downloads it, it puts it into the racial profiling report for us. We're no longer, which takes out, right now I'm having about 4 people that are having to actually physically touch that ticket to get that same information, where if we use our ticket writers and iPads and those information that goes along with that eForce would cut down a lot of that, where they could actually be out there on the scene, or they could leave there, go down to somewhere, which also, because it shows their presence, if they're sitting in a parking lot or sitting on the side of the road and they're actually sitting there doing their report, it actually can help slow down traffic, help slow down that. Plus, they're not having to burn a lot of gas, drive all the way from Talco back here to Mount Pleasant to do a report, and then turn around and get another call, because a lot of times we may have that same thing. If they get a call, then they got to turn around and go back to Talco or Cookville or Monticello or wherever they go, they've got that computer with them. They can pull over on the side of the road, sit there and start typing out their report, and then once they get back, the port will extract that information, drop it into the computer, and then everything they've got that they've did on scene, their photographs, interviews, everything they've done, it automatically extracts it and puts it on that reporting system with them.
Was that iPad not be capable of using their email and phone conversations?
Yes, they could. Well, I believe they could, yes, sir.
So
Possibly.
with the phone, we got the iPad.
Well, the only problem is they wouldn't have the iPad with them at all times when they're off duty. I mean, the iPad would be in their vehicle, because that's what the docking station would be, what charges that iPad when they're not using it. That'd be the only thing, as far as if they're off duty, is taking that iPad with them when they're off duty would be the only thing. Yes, ma'am.
The ticketing system, does that feed into the JP's system? Did that, when they enter the ticket information, does it feed into there for them as well? Is that how they get their ticketing?
Yes, they have access to our system now, which...
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
It pulls it in, because I know all of their tickets, a lot of them are written, and then it comes into their system.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
That I-3, we still owe them some type of money. If they're not producing, then we need to look and see what they guaranteed us in that contract. If they're not producing what they did in that contract, they had a big class action suit on them. Was it Georgia, Arkansas, Louisiana, somewhere?
Yes, sir. I believe the state of Louisiana, I believe, did a class action lawsuit against them, because a lot of the sheriff's offices, police departments were experiencing the same issues. They overpromised and under-delivered on what they said their system would do, kind of like what we're experiencing now. They promised the moon, and they're not, in my opinion, they're not delivering anything that they said they would. I know when they first came in, they said they would actually take our 30 years worth of records, and in one weekend they would dump it into this new system, and we would have everything just like it was. We'd just be rolling along like nothing ever happened. Of course, that didn't happen. Basically, all they did was screw up a lot of our records, because they dumped the wrong information into wrong records, and then we had to go back and then hand check every one of those old records and pull out the bad information and replace it with good information. And in the new system they've got now, when we come in and we photograph someone that's been arrested, it'll attach itself to the wrong files. They'll put it in there, and then of course when they back out and they go back in there to recheck it to make sure it's there, it's not there. It dumps it on someone else's file.
Maybe something we need to look into with the other sheriffs around us, talking to agents.
Yes, sir. I've talked with, we have every so often we have a regional sheriff's meeting, usually in Longview or in Tyler. And a lot of I've got about 8 of the regional sheriffs in this that are currently with I3 Vertical, and they're the same way I are. They're extremely upset with it. They don't like it. I don't know if they would be interested in going into a lawsuit. That may be something that it'd probably have to come from the county judges of those counties to see if they would be interested in doing that from that.
But we didn't get a contract there, and they're saying that they were going to deliver this. I think we need to look into that as well.
Oh, absolutely. I agree, because
We need to get with John Mark about and look into that, and
Yes, sir.
I'll get with other judges.
yes, sir. No, I agree, because that's, like I say, all the sheriffs that in this region that have it, none of them like it. They're all looking for other avenues, and I know NTCC at the college, they currently went with the C-Force program. Several of the other sheriffs in this region are also telling me that they're probably going to go with the E-Force program if they're able to get it financially. They would like to go to the E-Force program too, like I would like to do, based on some of the other programs that we've looked at. We've looked at several other different programs. Most programs can't do all 3. They can't operate our JMS, which is our jail management system, and then our CAD, which is our dispatch program, and then our records management. It's hard to find someone that can do all 3 and be able to pull them together. And with this system, we can do like we do with Net Data. We can allow county clerk, district clerk, the JPs, all of them can have access to look at that system to see those records. And then also, if we have other things that we want to create, other forms, anything they've got, we can basically come in and say, this is what we want, and they were able to create basically anything that we need on that system. And we did, when we went over to Cook County with Sheriff Sappington and looked at their system, they can customize, which I3 Vertical said they could do that, but they can't do it. But E-Force claimed they could, so we went over and I said, well, I want to actually see it in as it's actually working, since Sheriff Sappington's had it for a year and a half with the C4 system, and he confirmed, yes, everything that they said that they could do, and when they did their presentation, he said it does and more. He said everything I've asked for as far as creation of forms, creation of anything, he said he hadn't had any issues with anything from their jail management system to their dispatch and also their records management. And then they're also in the vehicles with their ticket writers, their computers, anything. He said they haven't had any issues at all with any of their systems so far. So. The next item we're looking at is I've got a quote here from Motorola in reference to radio systems. We're looking at trying to upgrade our current handheld radios that we have. They're actually a Bluetooth radio that connects to our in-car radios when the deputies get out on a traffic stop. The issues with those radios is they only work within about 75 feet of that patrol car, and they get over 75 feet away from that patrol car. That radio does not connect to the in-car radio, and then dispatch can't hear them. The other downfall to that is if they go into a building, a house, one of the schools, the college, anything like that, they're unable to communicate due to the limits of that handheld radio. The other issue we've got also is our dispatch radios are over 30 years old. They quit making those radios about 20 years ago, and they quit making parts about 10 years ago. So currently, the radio systems that I have in dispatch, if it goes down, I have no avenue of being able to fix those radios or buy parts for them. I've got a quote right now for replacing the handheld radios that we currently use. The price for that is going to be for 26 handheld radios. It's $271,251 to replace 26 of those handheld radios. I don't have the quote yet from our dispatch. They're still working on that to get that for me of what I would need. What we could do on these radios, the reason for the expense on that, it's an actual digital radio system like the Mount Pleasant Police Department uses. I know the Mount Pleasant Fire Department's currently about halfway through swapping over their systems to those digital radios. I know when we had our last sheriff's conference, the state's eventually going to come to the point where they're going to make everybody go to digital system. That's coming in the future. Of course, right now, what I would like to do is go ahead and start moving over towards those digital radios. And one of the biggest reasons, like I say, is officer safety, because once they get away from their vehicles, We've got some of those other analog radios that we've tried to use also to get away, to see what they would do with these Bluetooth radios that we currently have. Our only issue is when we get out in Talco, Talco, Sugar Hill, Monticello, a lot of those areas, those radios aren't strong enough to get out. The digital system would be able to get out on those digital radios. I know the fire department's already, and the police department's already checked those going inside Harts Bluff, Chapel Hill, Northeast Texas Community College, because one of the things that we've noticed over the last 15 years when we do these school shooting scenarios that we practice on those, once we get inside a building, we're dead in the water. The only people that are able to communicate with each other is the city, the police department, the fire department, because they have the digital radios that'll work inside of steel and concrete buildings. The current radio systems that we have, the analog and also the Bluetooth radios, will not work inside the school. So once we get inside there, we basically have no communication with anybody once we get in there. But the digital radio systems will allow us to do that if we go inside any of those any of those buildings, the college, school systems, or anything like that. That's either steel or concrete, we'll be able to communicate with our dispatch and also the other officers there on scene. We'll be able to communicate with them.
Have you talked with the chief of police here to know if we are going to be able to communicate together if we do go digital?
Yes, what we would have to do if we purchase these radios is actually operate off of the city's digital system. When the city purchased that system a number of years ago, they spent about $1.5 million putting that system in. And they put that system in with the intentions of basically bringing everybody in the county, fire, EMS, sheriff's office, volunteer fire departments, everybody. That system will more than support. Basically, everybody's got a radio would be able to operate off that system if we wanted to, whether it's fire, EMS, and everyone could come in and operate off of that trunk system that they currently have. And that's what gives us the ability to be able to operate off that digital system and also be able to talk wherever we're at. We can actually get on a handheld radio and utilize that system. I could talk to someone in Houston if I needed to by a handheld radio because we can connect to that system, that Harris line system that they currently have. But it also gives us the ability to be able to communicate inside of buildings, which is our Chapel Hill, Mount Pleasant, Harts Bluff, NTCC. Get inside those buildings right now, we basically have nothing because our cell phones won't work, the radios don't work, so we're basically kind of dead in the water at this point. So. And the other thing we're looking at is, if something were to happen, that somebody comes back and looks, okay, well, the last 15 years you've been doing all these exercises, what issues are you having? Our biggest thing has always been radio communication. We're not able to talk to each other, either talk to the officers inside the building, outside the building, or even our dispatch once they go inside the building. And then, of course, obviously everybody's seen what happened with Uvalde, with that catastrophe that happened there. They're looking at, what have you done, and that's why we go above and beyond on our training or our requirements of what we do to make sure that we are prepared in case something like that does happen, but also look at, one of the biggest issues, what are they going to come back and try to say that we did or didn't have, and it's also going to be our radio communications, and they're going to say, well, you've known for 15 years you had a radio issue, what are you doing to fix it? Well, the city fixed theirs. All the school police departments have already gone to the digital radio systems. The fire department's about halfway done with their transition on their radios. And of course, at the sheriff's office, we haven't moved forward with anything yet. So I want to look at trying to do that, to start moving forward with that. That way we can show we're doing everything that we possibly can to make that situation safe for the officers, but also the people that we're responding to help get there and protect them. And if we get there on scene and we can't communicate, then it's going to be hard for us to be effective on being able to do anything if we can't talk to anyone on that.
Next week or the following week with Mr. Nyhoff, the city manager. Okay. And but you're saying that the chief of police has no problem with us being on those?
No, sir, absolutely not. I visited, so actually the chief's one that helped me get with Motorola to be able to purchase the radios that will actually function on their system and helping me get that cost as down as far as we can. Chief's been really very, 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 very helpful on that because he's the same way. He's like, if we come out there to help you, it's not going to do us any good if we can't talk to each other, or vice versa. If we come to help them with a situation inside Mount Pleasant, if we can't talk to them, we obviously don't want to get into a situation where someone gets hurt because they don't know where we are, we don't know where they are inside the buildings, and it can it unfortunately creates a lot of chaos that we've seen over the last 15 years. Every time we do one of those training programs, that's been the biggest issue we've had, is just not being able to communicate with each other once we get on scene.
I think we need to make sure that we do have in our interlocal agreement that is on everybody on the same page.
Yes,
Whether you're the sheriff here 10 years from now, if I'm the judge, or these are the commissioners, we don't come back and say, well, that commissioner, that court didn't agree to that, and that way we've got it in writing, and you don't get into any misunderstanding on how the towers and stuff will be used. And so I'm looking, I think we need to move forward with this.
Sure.
Once we get our final reports back, that's great, but if we don't have that understanding with them that we're all on board, we've talked about better together, and they're seeming to work that way now, but we've got to grow together, and this is a part of our growing together.
Yes, sir.
And if they're not on board with that, then we're going to have a whole lot more expense than this. So.
Yes, sir, we will. Yes, sir, because if we don't get on the city system, then we'd basically have to put in our own. And like I say, what the city did theirs a number of years ago was $1.1 million or $1.5 million to get that up and running.
We paid quite a bit on that generator.
Yes, sir, we paid.
The generator or something up there.
Yes, sir, we paid for half of the new generator that went out up there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we have.
Lexi, I know you said you've talked to him. I'm talking to the city manager.
Right.
Let's
yes, sir.
Get our I's dotted and T's crossed and make sure that we're all on the same page.
Right. Yes, sir, and that's when I started that with the chief. The chief and I have been discussing that for a while on that because we knew of the issues that were happening. And I have not approached anyone on the council or the city manager because I didn't want to overstep my bounds on that. So that's why I was wanting to present that to you. And like I say, anything that's needed on my part, I'd be glad to help with that. And the chief said he would also, as far as anything that we need from him or me to help move that along with any kind of questions or anything that the council or that the commissioners, the judge may have on that.
And you can clarify once again, if we go the dispatch, y'all's dispatch will need to be that way as well.
Yes, we'll have to buy, I don't have the price on what it would cost for their radios. Basically what it would do is the system that they have in there, that's in there at the police department, they would actually do is take a radio, connect to that system, and it would basically relay to our dispatch down there off of that system to make it work. So we would have to buy a radio to connect to their system in there that would actually basically a jumper that goes from there to our dispatch down there and allows our dispatch to operate off that system, and then our handheld radios be able to operate off their system also.
You can get that figure as well.
Yes, sir. I'm waiting on that.
As we can get
yes,
that,
sir.
Because I may be ignorant on it. I think if we do this, we're dead in the water if we don't do the other.
Right. Yes, sir. Yeah, we'd have to have all of it to make it work. We'd have to have the agreement with the city to allow us to use that system, and then also have the radios for the handheld radios and also our new radios for dispatch to make the whole system work. Yes, sir.
Let's just make sure we've got that all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. The last item I have is we're looking at the purchase of tasers for our patrol officers. I was looking at currently purchasing 15 tasers. I believe y'all have got a picture there in your book there of what the tasers look like. We haven't had tasers in probably 7 or 8 years. We did the old tasers that we had back then weren't very effective. They had you had to be within 20 feet to actually utilize those, or do what they call a drive stun, which is basically come up and touch somebody with it and then use that taser on that. These new tasers that they've got, they actually holds 10 cartridges where the old ones only hold 2 probes. This one actually holds 10, which means basically you can get 10 shots off at someone, or actually you can engage multiple people with it. If you have one you're having an issue with, you're having to use a taser on someone, another person gets involved, you can actually hit that, actually do a couple of people at one time with it because it holds 10 cartridges. Plus, this one here, it basically doubled the amount of feet. It goes from 21 feet to 45 feet on these new tasers, which also helps the deputies not having to be so close to someone if they do need to utilize these and engage someone that they're having issues with. which is another officer safety issue. That way they're not having to get so close to them. That way if they try to engage with them and it misses or doesn't connect or doesn't charge, then they're not within 20 feet of them. They're not with the 45 feet on that one. They can actually be a lot further away if they do need to utilize that and engage it. It's more of an officer safety issue. What we're trying to do is look at, give them every option we can as far as a non-lethal option. Right now, the only thing we've got for them is pepper spray, which with pepper spray, you're going to have to get within 10 feet of them to be able to spray them with the pepper spray. With this option, it gives them an option to be able to stay about 45 feet away. You know, if they've got someone with a knife or they've got something with something, they can actually, and they don't really want to have to shoot them, or if it's not an issue where they're having to shoot them, this option here could give them where they could utilize that taser to try to effectively end that situation there with them in case we don't have to go to a lethal option. I know that the price tag on that, there's, if you bought it outright, it's $79,994 to purchase all of those, which is the tasers, the chargers, the training, everything that comes with that. But they also have an option of doing $15,900 a year over a 5-year period if you wanted to do that option there also for that. But that's another item there that I'd like for the judge and commissioners to consider also for the deputies there as far as a non-lethal option there for use of force.
Anybody have any questions for the sheriff?
No, I have none.
I don't. All right, Sheriff, appreciate it.
Thank you all very much.
Have a good day. Stop the rain for a little while.
Yes, sir.
9:45, Mr. Carlock, if you'd like to come on up to the hot seat. That's it.
Well, good morning. I'm not really asking for any changes, so I don't have, I guess, too big of a presentation, but I've kind of left the numbers the same, the pay figures, the office expenditure, keeping it at the 12,000 as same as last year, jury supply same as last year. The travel seminar went down, I think the year before was 5,000, so last year we kept it at 4, and I think 4 is a good number to keep it at.
Joe, plan on going to some more seminars, looking like...
I've went to one seminar. I have my chief deputy going to a CGIS conference here in a week or so, so there's going to be some expense there, and then I'll have a fall conference I'm going to try to go to, so it'll be pretty close to that number, I think. Probably a little bit less, but... The only thing I ask, and I appreciate y'all's work last year on getting our salary and our pay up for our employees, which that really helped a lot. So obviously I'm not going to come in here and ask for a bunch of something unreasonable. The only thing I think that would be fair is to consider at least a cost of living, or just try to keep something going every year. That way we don't get behind again and we have to play catch up. So I think at least if we can consider some kind of cost of living or something amongst everybody. I think that's pretty much. I think we're doing really good as far as with passports and the pictures we're generating. I think a pretty good stream of revenue there, and we're staying busy. Chuck's came in, and it's been pretty busy. So.
Anybody have any questions? Pretty easy when you come over, don't ask for nothing. Stay the same to get you in and out.
Not too bad.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate all the deals with the passport. We have them come over here. quite often looking for the passport, so I know you are staying busy with that, and the revenue on it looks well, is good for us as well for the county.
I think the pictures is one of the best things we did because it keeps from having to send people back to CVS and get those redone, and that generates something steady, and so.
Time too, instead of back and forth and in and out of the office, so get it all done at once.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Marcus.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
Take a little bathroom break, and we'll be back.
Oh, goodness.
All right, 10 o'clock, Mrs. President, County Clerk.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. How are y'all today?
Good.
Okay, on my first page, there is one increase on there on line 010-403-103, and that increase is because of the taxes and stuff that were increased over the raise that was given to that position last year that everybody got. So it was increased from the $11,000 to a little over $12,000. And that comes out of my R&M fund 043-403-104, which is separate from the rest of the budget, so that it doesn't affect the county budget. And then on, I believe the rest of, until I get to page, I'm sorry? 310. My office expense increased a little bit also, and that's due to just how much everything is costing now for us to have what we need in our office, as far as paper, supplies for the birth certificates and things like that. I believe the next thing I have is going to be my account number 037340401 archive fee. I had it at $37,000 last year. I want to move it up to $45,000 like it had been in the, oh, it's a little under, I had it in $47,000 in the past, so I want to move it up to $45,000 because the company that I had selected last year to do my archiving to save money, that did the books for me, they're going to now start the digital archiving of my probate records, which will help us with the lithium companies that are coming in, looking at records and stuff where they can come online and look, or they can come in the office and look easier. And also the citizens of Titus County can review their records from their families where their land has been passed down through the probates, and they can maintain and see what they have as far as rights for their minerals and stuff. It makes them easier to access than trying to figure out where they are in the cabinets. And I actually put in the proposal so that y'all can review that I will also officially present in August during the budget meeting in August, so that y'all can see what their plan is for that. And they're going to do up to $45,000 worth of work, but they should be able to get my probate records within 2 years with that amount, all the probate records that haven't been digitized.
So the archive fees going up $10,000?
Okay, I'm sorry, I put 47 down, I'm sorry.
Is that 037? 037?
037, 340, yeah, it's 47, I'm sorry. And Judge, what was your question?
I'm confused on what all you just said.
Well, the archive fee, I'm budgeting for $47,000 so that I can make sure that I have enough money in there to pay Revolution Data to digitally preserve our probate records so that they will be more accessible to the citizens of Titus County because of the lithium companies that are coming in. We have had a lot of people coming in wanting to know what the probate records were, where they stand as far as their mineral rights and stuff like that. And it needs to be archived digitally anyway, because if we have some kind of natural disaster and those records are destroyed, then I'm leaving the county citizens and people that don't live in Titus County that still have records here, lost.
Understand that, but you want to go up 10,000. Is there going to be more revenue coming in for those archives?
The revenue has increased, yes, sir, but it goes into its own fund.
No,
No?
she's budgeting the $47,000 is an increase on a revenue fee. Her expense is $65,000.
Okay, yes, yes.
Historically, like in 2024, she brought in $47,000. So she's budgeting for 2026, $47,000. She dropped that last year. She's going back.
I wasn't for sure how last year would be, so I'm changing it back up to where it was in the past.
That's the incoming archive fee. The outgoing expense would be $60,000.
Yes, sir, I'm sorry, I was saying it backwards. I got ahead of myself. Okay. Let me see. On 0434033104, that is where from the first page, where it was 11,881, it's now over 12,000. That is where that money comes from. And so that will be increased to a little over 12,000 also to match that amount.
Match what amount?
You want me to explain? A full-time position was moved from Fund 43 to Department 403, with a supplement being paid annually from 043 to cover the expenses of that position. That transfer should be increased by any raise increase that happens during the time. So that's why from 23 to 24, it was increased. So she's increasing it for the 5% raise that was reflected last year that didn't get put in the budget for this year. So this year we wouldn't modify it unless there was a raise. This year I'd have to increase that one. So we're making this up for last year's. But that's a transfer out of here into the county department. That's to reduce her salary expenses in her department that's on the county budget versus off of the records management.
So that money doesn't come from the county, it comes from my budget, from records management.
It all comes from the county, but yes.
Okay. I had spoke to y'all a few months ago or a couple months ago about a raise for my criminal deputy position when I needed to hire somebody, and I was very lucky to get somebody for the actual rate that they're at right now, and he has worked out excellently. He has been here, this is the start of his third week, and he has had very little contact with me this week, asking me questions. There's only been a couple of things that have come in that were new that he hasn't learned how to do as of yet. I wanted to compliment him on the work that he is doing and how fast he is learning and everything. And if you do give the county a raise, I would like to make sure that his position does get the raise for sure. And if the county doesn't get a raise, I would like to ask the commissioners and the judge for the possibility of giving him a raise to get him where I'd ask him to be, which with his wages, FICA, Medicare, retirement, and everything would be the $4,193.63, and that would be added to the little over 12,000 that's from the 403-104 line. It wouldn't be coming from the county budget, it would be coming from that same place. So I would just like to make sure that that position does get to where it needs to be. I understand last year when we were doing this, that position was falling behind on things that needed to be done, and they were not given the raise that was from me.
You give the raises, that's what that was.
I did not give that position the raise. I gave it to the other employees. But I would like to make that person that's in there that is meeting the demands that I have and need to be met already within the first 3 weeks of his job. He's on time and everything. I just wanted to put that out there. I understand y'all may or may not approve it, but I just wanted to put it out there. I don't know if y'all are aware of what kind of work he does in there as far as what his job title and what his job duties are, but he is to maintain up-to-date list of each appointed case by hired attorneys. He maintains comprehensive bail bond information. He enters case informations. He works with the Sheriff's Department, meticulously attend to detail. He maintains accurately and timely information prior to court docket. He works through the court, after the court, enters the cases from lower court for appeals and financial requirement and filing, processes payments, verifies identity, payment type, responds promptly and accurately to the FBI requests, retrieves information payments from e-file, exercises extreme caution to prevent incorrect information entry on cases, ensuring precision and attention to detail before, during, and after court proceedings, while collaborating closely with the judge, county attorney's office, probation attorneys outside this building, sheriff's office, FBI, and CJS. Creates and maintains physical and digital files for civil cases, working closely with the judge, the assistant attorneys, and citizens involved in the cases. There are additional complex details within each description that are going to be introduced to him as necessary throughout his job. Criminal court is held each month, along with the possibility of hearings and jury trials. So the person that I hired this time, I just want to tell y'all, I'm very, very fortunate with who I got this time. He is going to exceed the people that were good at the job if he stays at the rate that he is right now. I just want to let y'all know that, okay? And he does have a degree in criminal science. So I'm very lucky to have him at that rate whenever he could be working somewhere else. He moved here from Dallas to get away from the hectic lifestyle and to help with his mom. But on the archive record plan, that is actually what I'm going to present to y'all in August. I just wanted to give it to you in advance so that y'all would have time to review it and see what it actually refers to. Do y'all have any questions on anything? Okay. I appreciate your time, and y'all have a great day.
15, Mr. Clayton, come on up. Glad you could be here with us all morning. Good you could be here with us all morning.
How are y'all?
Good.
Well, like usual, we're good on what you are giving us. Like we said, we've got the juvenile board sets our budget. That'll be in August. And everything on our ends will be the same for next year. So, I mean, unless y'all want to throw a bunch of money at us, but I mean, it's all right.
We wish we had a lot of money to throw.
You can just buy my lunch today
We
at
buy
the
your
juvenile
lunch
board
today.
meeting.
I'll buy your lunch today at the board meeting.
We'll know what our part is to you in August, is that what?
Right, yeah. But no, everything stayed the same. The only thing that usually changes is our liability insurance for district judges, but it stayed the same, which usually insurance goes up, but it didn't.
The juvenile detention department, I noticed that we're at 26,000 for the last 2 months or so.
Yeah, it's been
And
bad.
so-
It's been bad. We've had a lot of kids locked up for some serious stuff.
So I'm noticing the 50,000. I mean,
Well,
it
we're
is what
sitting
it
at-
is. That could handle it, and then that very well could be wiped out too.
I mean, you never know. We're sitting at about, 8,000 under what the budget was. We're getting most of the kids out.
You've been as high as 53, though. I mean, you've been as high as 53. though.
Right, but we're supposed to get some money back for those kids we had sent to TJJD. They reimburse us on that waiting list, So I'm waiting, I put those into our system, so we should be getting some money back. Did we get it yesterday?
I think we did.
So we should go back, that should help.
Yeah, that's there. Like I said, I just went over the agenda and saw where we were. Titus County is very high compared to the other three at this meeting.
All I can say is our law enforcement, they're arresting them. Other counties, I mean, we're down in referrals, but doesn't mean it's not going on there too. But our law enforcement here is top notch. And we've got some kids that, we had the 2 kids that went to the penitentiary. They usually sit there for about 90 days because it's got a backlog. And those things that we're paying for, we get reimbursed because they have that backlog. But like she said, we just got that check yesterday. So that should help with that.
Good. All right. Any questions, Clayton? Is everybody good?
Yeah, we're
Appreciate you coming. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, brother. See you at lunch.
Hopefully I'll be through by 12.
All right. Thank y'all.
If not, order me a salad. I'll be right there.
I need to know. But I think
She'll be back. She went on a transport. She'll be back. Okay, good. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Mr. Cates, you in the hot seat now?
I'm in the hot seat.
Did you bring GJ with you to get in the hot seat?
I did.
You did? Well, that's good.
I did. I went back over those numbers after we talked. I don't think
I got you covered.
Yes, electricity.
Sanitation, because I haven't done it.
Yeah.
I think I got it in there this year, next year.
Yeah, I hate it. I brought it back up to 6,500 for next year. I think it'll be close. So pretty much it's all the same. I kept the same numbers pretty much as we did last year. The only thing I had changed was my utilities, and my utilities went up, and the utilities are extremely hard to control. But I raised my electric utility, my budget for 26, I raised it to 4,500. And the gas utility, I raised it to 4,500. And water and sanitation, we raised that line item to $6,500 for the year. Now,
You've reduced.
You reduced.
You reduced.
yes, yes.
You reduced. You're saying raised. Did you mean?
No, I didn't.
You meant
I
to?
that's what
You get a lot more attaboys when you go down. You get a lot more shakings at it.
I reduced the electric and the utility.
Whole 45 or you?
Yes, no, I reduced the electric bill, the electric budget from 6,000 to 4,500.
Okay.
And I reduced the gas from 49 to 45. But I had to raise my water and sanitation. I raised it from 4,200 to 6,500.
You think that's enough? Because we're...
It's going to be close. To be honest, I don't know. I think by my math this year, it's going to be right, but I don't know about next year. You know how that goes.
Well,
I thought I had enough this year, and I missed it by about $2,000.
You got hit hard in the last.
I got hit hard right at the
Here
end.
in the, not so bad some parts, but you pay water and sanitation for several locations.
I do, and that's what I said.
It's not just you.
It's hard for me to control because I pay for multiple locations.
Yeah.
So and that's not all my utilities, but that's my gas and water. So.
What he's saying is, Ms. Rollins, that y'all use water over and he can't control you. I'm just picking at you.
But that's kind of where we're at. Like I said, I did put the $7,000 for the building repair back in this year. I've got bids, and I've already issued a PO to do the repair for 25, but in 26, I'd like to spend another $7,000 on the building if I could.
just to do some other repairs and stuff. We hadn't spent any money, I've been there 8 years, and we hadn't spent any money at all on the building. So I'd like to do some on it, and
Preventative goes a long
I'd
way.
really like to get Joe D to come out and do a cool coat on the roof, but
It'll make a lot of change in that.
I think it would help us a lot to do that, but I
Still,
don't,
any leaks you got, it'll reflect heat, I believe.
yeah. I don't think 7,000's ever gonna cover that, but,
I don't know if you'll get up and spread it yourself.
yeah, it's 7,000, but 7,000 will cover some work I need done on some of the doors and stuff like that. I'm getting the gutters fixed, I don't know when, but I got the bids back, and like I said, I've issued a PO to John Homer.
Right, I
He's gonna be
saw
doing the work, and, hopefully, like I said, we can get this 7,000 in, do some work on the doors, and I hadn't found nobody to do the roof yet, but if I can find somebody to do it, we'll try to get it put in there. May have to do something on it.
Who did that roof? You got any suggestions who do that roof?
To do that, who would do it, I don't know, but a lot of roofing companies don't do it. It's just a cool seal that you can put on top. You can get the epoxy, which it'll seal everything when you do it that, but it really works.
It'll add life to the building.
It will.
It will add a lot of life to the
It
building.
reflects the heat, it changes the
Yeah.
temperature of it.
We got some leaks, it'll stop the leaks when we do it. I mean, you solve a lot of problems by doing that.
And I'm sorry, I was on the phone, I cut a tree down.
Go ahead.
If you do get a chance, if you'll get, try to find somebody that'll do it and get some bids on that.
I will.
And I think it helps the county in the long run to take care of that, and preventative goes a long way, and I know it's spending some money.
Yes.
And we appreciate you. Matter of fact, your budget went down this year, and so
Yeah.
you're one of the very few, so we're glad to have you. If you'd like to stay a little longer, we'll visit with you all after.
Yeah.
We do appreciate it, and appreciate everything you've done at the barn, and so.
No other questions? Well, this is easy.
You brought your right arm man with you.
I did, I brought my answers. He answers for me.
That's what I'm saying, I'm scared we're gonna get in trouble.
We thought you was asking for more on everything. You brought all these bodyguards.
No, I'm trying not to, but
You follow the big ticket, you follow the jails.
yes.
I won't go behind the sheriff every year.
I didn't plan on that water bill, and I really don't know what happened on that water bill this year. It went up a bunch.
The city went up 17% the last 2 years, and then they put in new meters, and
And new
so
meters.
everybody in Titus County, everybody in the city of Mount Pleasant knows exactly what's happening.
Yeah, so that's what happened to us there, but I think we'll be okay.
This is your last budget?
This is my last one.
No, we'll talk about that later.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Jeff.
Lori said she didn't want you to come.
Hey, Jeff.
Your wife begging us to keep you instead of bringing you home.
Y'all have a good one.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
I guess I'm next.
You're next, Ms. Robbins.
I don't know if Callie's gonna make it. We have
That's okay.
40 little children at the office.
Well, that's good.
So, I still even got my name tag on.
You got the better of the deal. They get to come
Well,
up
I
here and
think-
see. Well, I don't know. It may be worse than having 40 kids.
I don't know, but I told Callie that I said, I'll either text you and tell you whether we're on time or what, so, anyway. Y'all, we appreciate everything y'all do. The only increase that we've asked was our mileage, really more so for Callie because of our increase in youth participation, and requires her to put more miles on the road.
Well, I know Kelly's not here today, but I'd just like to speak on her behalf. These ag children that she's running up and down the roads with, it's making a huge difference.
It is.
I do show up to a few shows every once in a while, and all the parents and everything, all they've got is good things to say about Callie, and that makes it easy for us to invest in y'all when we've got good representation out there. And like I said, the kids are doing well. The kids that they brought up here and spoke are outstanding, and I tell Hunter all the time that Gunner, he's going to be going places.
I know it.
The Rogers boy and his sister. So she's raising some good people and helping them grow, and that helps Titus County grow, because that's our future, is those youth. And she's spending weekends, nights, mornings, and lots of time and heartache, and we appreciate all she does for us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And the only other thing is that the county gets, salary raises, we want to all be considered. But other than that.
Absolutely.
And I think Nanette does kind of the electrical stuff. We don't take care of you. We don't.
She does changes.
We don't have a clue.
You look like you're pretty good.
Okay.
Based on where we are right now.
Well, we really try to watch the utility.
Yeah, and we monitor those. I mean, it's an indirect call. I mean, you don't know, like when water prices go up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Well, we appreciate you.
All right, we appreciate
Give Kelly our good regards.
Y'all didn't keep me long enough. You sure there's not any more questions?
She don't want to go back out there. So
No, the
get you back
kids
out
are
there.
great. Every Tuesday and Thursday in June, and I think 2 days in July, they're there at the office from 9 to 12. They get nutritional snacks. We got a grant, and so a 4-H grant, so that's helping pay. They're getting T-shirts. They do junior master gardening, all kinds, but it's pre-K through, I think our oldest one's 13, and that one had to squeeze in. And we have a
She
waiting.
was saying that she's going to have to leave, or is that not correct? There's one of them that was pushing the borderline of the age diff.
And then I know they're going to ask, can we go one more year?
One more year.
But we have, I think, 16 on the waiting list.
Well, that's
But-
awesome.
Wow.
So,
Y'all doing a good job.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
We appreciate you. Make sure
All
you
right.
tell Callie we appreciate all.
all right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all so much.
Mr. Bailey, step right on up. We're running a little ahead of schedule, which is good. You're basically keeping everything exactly the same. I know there's some SB 22 money in there. Like me and you spoke the other day, we probably need to keep it in there in case something does happen. And we don't wish any bad things on you, but if something did happen to happen, then we've got it there. And if a new district attorney needed an assistant or something, then we've got that. It'll be filed each year with the SB 22. You have to go through that, have to send it back, but I think it's smart to keep it in there unless you don't want to. And that's,
I think so. I think it may become necessary depending on what we face case-wise. But if I can save it, the county or the SB 22 money, I'll try to save it. And anything I can pay out of the SB 22 money, I'm happy to do that, along with the forfeiture account, to take the burden off the county, try to help wherever possible.
we appreciate you. We appreciate the job you're doing. A lot of people don't know it and goes under the table, but we do know that you're pushing a lot of cases. A lot of people coming through the probation departments and things now, and we're moving cases, and we're glad you're back. We hope you're refreshed and ready to go. It looks that way. And,
well, I appreciate it.
Quit getting to work so early every morning. You make all of us look bad. You can't beat the district attorney here. I've tried, and you just can't do it. So, Chuck, we appreciate you and appreciate the job.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Good
Thank
luck.
you, Chuck.
Thank you
so
all.
much.
Good to see
Thank you, Mr. Payne.
Appreciate it. Stop the clock, I guess.
Yeah, somebody said, well, y'all are really brave. I said, well, I think it's probably more stupid than it is brave.
Yeah. I wasn't go.
Yeah. Yes.
There's snakes down there too.
Yeah. Be back under number 6.
Any of y'all want to go, we've always got an open spot on the boat. I said, any of y'all that want to go, we've always got an open spot on the boat.
I'm okay.
I don't think you're going to be convincing any of us to head out there.
I wasn't going to make that comment when you made that statement a while ago. It run through my head about you didn't know what it was, whether it was stupid or what. It kind of run through my head, and I thought, no, I'm not going to say that till you did.
All right, well, this is 10:30, and we'll have Mr. Ray Barrett, Constable.
All right, well, I haven't asked for any additions to the budget for this year other than just salary, and I always put something on there just because I feel like if I don't, y'all might think I don't want anything. So, so really, I haven't asked for anything to go up on budget. Seemed like everything's running pretty smooth.
All right. Makes it simple. Anybody got any questions for a man that don't ask for nothing on here? We're in good shape.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it.
Go back to
Thank y'all.
Go back to Newton.
Would it have been that easy if I'd asked for something?
No, absolutely not.
Ray, be careful.
I just flipped over by the time he walked out, but
We had 3 of them. I got mine. Mine's not done yet.
mine's not done yet.
I didn't hear what you said.
Coat on your truck?
No.
Go. Mr. Duncan, Constable. How are you today?
Good, good.
Good. You got in, go over your budget and kind of explain what you got on there?
Okay, yeah, so on the budget, I didn't make any changes. I feel like the funds are sufficient, everything's running the way it should. So I did put a little bit on the salary. I understand that you guys will give the raise that you guys feel necessary. I just put something on there to let you know if you want to give some more money, I'll take it. Thank you.
Anybody got any questions for Mr. Duncan? All right, simple.
Okay.
So where do we?
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all's time.
If you need something, holler at me.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll start with commissioners and the judge. I don't mind going first. The only thing, they all need one of those.
This is the chest that goes behind y'all.
I'll start with mine, and the only increase that we've got in the judge's office will be asking for $3,000 in furniture there. We're going to have some chairs and desk, and then everything else is going to stay the same. I think we're fine with everything else that's there without any problems. Don't put over furniture.
311.
We'll move down to Commissioner Warren, Mr. Parchman, start with you.
I'm not asking for any extra money. All I did was swap a few line items around or move money out of certain ones and added a lot to my other road materials, but pretty much keeping, not asking for anything extra.
Okay. No questions on that, I'm assuming, so. Move into Commissioner 2, that'd be Commissioner Mitchell.
I ask for no change.
No change. All right.
You know, we all could use more road materials, but, I mean, it's just like, we'll do what we gotta do to keep our county running good.
We'll go into precinct 3, and before Dana gets started, we're going to look at those numbers, and once we do get all those numbers back from the final at the district tax office, can't promise anything, but I'm hoping to put a little bit more money into the road materials because they have gone up, and we do need to get that taken care of. Sorry.
Didn't ask you nothing, just moved a lot of stuff in the road materials to, like Jeff and them did, that way with no confusion. And that way, we can call up here and just had to get it out of, trying to cut down on the fee or whatever it comes out of.
Purchase orders and changing them coming out of general. Commissioner Ford, Mr. Parker.
I'm kind of like Jeff. I moved some stuff around and increased some and decreased some. The only thing that I put in extra was salary, and so and pretty much the same.
Whereabouts did you switch? Just all in the. What all did you switch around?
The other road materials. I went up from 235 to 250, and then where did I pull that from? I went up on road oil too.
2,500 of that come out of your tires.
Yeah. And there was another somewhere that.
Electricity went from down to 2850 from 35. So. It's a little different because you've got those salaries involved in there, but what you're saying is it's the same amount as we were with last year.
Yes.
You just moved it around.
Just moved some around, yeah.
Questions on those? Well, with all those being complete, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to adjourn from the workshop.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. We'll adjourn at 11:12 from the workshop. Thank y'all.